Anyone who produces video content knows that the hard work is only just starting when you finish filming the video. There are a million jobs which need to be done if you want to get the most juice out of every video. This week on the podcast, my guest is Natalie Hailey, who runs a YouTube agency focused on helping creators be much more productive. She shares the workflows and systems she uses to help them cover far more ground and reach far more people. If you produce any kind of content, you'll love this episode. Hi there, and welcome back to Amplify, the Digital Marketing Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm Bob Gentle, and every Monday I'm joined by amazing people who share what makes their business work. If you're new to the show, then take a second right now to subscribe so you don't miss new episodes, and you can grab some older ones when you're done with this one. And don't forget to join our Facebook community. Just visit amplifyme.fm/insiders and you'll be taken right there. So, welcome along and let's meet Natalie. So this week I'm thrilled to welcome another repeat visitor to the show, Natalie Hailey. Natalie, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you are, and the kind of work you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I'm delighted to be back on the podcast, Bob. My name is Natalie Hailey, and I'm based in a small market town in Kirkby Lonsdale, which is in Cumbria in the UK. And I have a virtual sort of end-to-end YouTube agency, if you like. So we work with businesses that use YouTube as their primary platform for growth, and we help them with everything right through from planning their videos, doing the keyword research, right through to helping them with the production, the repurposing and the promotion of the videos. So beyond actually recording a video themselves, we kind of help with absolutely everything else that you have to do on YouTube to get your content seen.
I think a lot of people from the outside, they probably look at people who do YouTube and think, yeah, they just do it all themselves. And I think a lot of people do, but those people for whom YouTube is working for them probably very quickly find that they really need to focus on the bit that only they can do, and that is the shooting of the video.
Absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, just recording a YouTube video is not even 50% of what needs to be done to get your content seen and to do that video content justice. Unless you are a hugely prominent YouTuber who has millions and millions of followers and subscribers, unless you are one of those fortunate people, then there's so much promotion, there's so much we have to do to drive people to our videos on YouTube, and it's such a time-consuming process. I mean, I produce 2 videos a week myself for my channel, and I know firsthand how many hours a week that would take me if I didn't get help. I mean, fortunately, I have a sort of virtual team who I can pull in to help me on a lot of the post-production and that kind of thing anyway. But if you don't, that's how many hours of your working week that's kind of taken away from working on your client work, bringing in new business, going to conferences, talking to people on the phone, the stuff that you really need to be doing. There's actually a lot of people out there who can help you with the donkey work, if you like, and also a lot of the more specialist kind of work, such as the keyword research, which a lot of people don't feel too confident with. So yeah, there are some people who do it all themselves, but I think, as you say, quite quickly it becomes apparent that it is actually probably more effective to get help with the bits that you can get help with and just focus on the bits that only you can do and you are best doing, which is actually recording great video content.
I think there's something you said there, which is keyword research. And what I'd like to dig into a little bit in a moment is everybody always assumes that you shoot the video and that's when the work begins. And to be honest, that's probably very easy for most people to understand, that you need to edit the video, you need to promote the video and all the rest of it. But actually, twice now you've spoken about what happens before you produce a video, planning the video and the keyword research.
Definitely, yeah.
Expand on that a little bit for me. What does that typically look like? Yeah,
it's a really interesting point to pull out, because it is true that so many of us think, oh, I've got this great idea for a video, I want to make this video, and just go right ahead, jump straight in and record the video and then do the keyword research, etc. afterwards. But actually, there's so much else to consider, so much that needs to happen before you even pick a topic. So the keyword research comes in from the very beginning. It's actually the first thing that I will do before I even think about a topic for a video is there actually a demand for that topic, a video, within my audience. So I use a tool called TubeBuddy, and the first thing I will do is jump on the keyword explorer function of TubeBuddy, and I will type in the idea that I've had for a video topic, and I'll see, using their amazing kind of gauge, it shows you like traffic light system, as it were, what the chances are that you will actually have of ranking for that particular video topic. It might be that there's a huge amount of competition, loads of people have already recorded a video on that topic, people with huge channels, and therefore there's very little chance that, especially if you're just starting out on YouTube, that you'll have a chance to actually rank for that keyword. So from that point, it's about tweaking the angle that you come at this from, tweaking the title, looking at different ways of wording it and that kind of thing, so that you can find a little gap in YouTube where, you know, somebody hasn't quite covered what you're going to say. But yeah, unless your audience is something that people are actually searching for, you can make the most amazing YouTube video. But if people aren't, you know, if there isn't a demand for that topic that you're creating it on, you've kind of wasted your time. So it's so important to start with the keyword research first. And that also will then dictate a number of other things, such as how you script your video. So for example, YouTube does actually notice what you say in the first 15 seconds of your video. So you want to kind of optimize your videos as much as you can for search. So once you've picked your chosen focus keyword or phrase, make sure that you say that in the first 15 seconds. You know, doing your keyword research at the beginning will also dictate then what the title of your video becomes, because you want to get your keyword and phrase in the actual title. It will dictate, you know, your description, because we want to get the keyword in the first line or so of the description. So we have to always start from the keyword and work from there, definitely. And it will save you so much time in the long run and make your videos so much more successful.
I think as you were speaking, I always have to be thinking, what's my next question going to be, Bob? And I was going to go to, well, which of the fields really matters most for SEO, but you actually answered that question before I got there. But the one thing that really leapt out for me, which I did not know, was that Google is actually indexing the first 15 seconds of the video content over and above the other. Yeah. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, that is one that sometimes does blow people's minds, is that, you know, the first few seconds of what you say in your YouTube video, they pick up on that. They can pick up on that. So it's not. So it's really important, to verbally, you know, get your keyword and phrase in there as well, which is something that you can't do if you're just winging it and you're just recording your video without knowing what your keyword or phrase is going to be. So you have to give yourself the best chance and start. You know, it's like with lots of things, you know, like painting and decorating, for example. You know, I'm constantly painting and decorating because we're renovating a house, but you just want to dive straight in and you just want to get on with the nice bit, the actual painting. But it's all of the preparation that you have to put in first, you know, the sanding and the filling and all the rest of it. And unless you get that right, then the actual paintwork's not going to be right. And it's the same with YouTube videos. It's just, it does pay to put that work in beforehand.
And I guess to roll back to what would have been my question previously, of all of the SEO elements or keyword research, it's not so much keyword research, that comes beforehand, but of all of the various things that YouTube gives you in terms of the title, the description, the tags, and as you said, the content of the video itself, which has the biggest impact on the video's ranking?
Well, I would say by far, really, it's the title. Because if you think about how people use YouTube or how we search on YouTube, we'll type in a search term and then we're given a number of choices. And all we really see, and often we're looking on a phone, all we really see is the thumbnail image and the title. We might see a few words, you know, of the description, but the thumbnail image and the title are our biggest opportunities and often the first opportunities we have to really pull people in. So much work really needs to go into getting that title right. And again, that's something that you can use keyword research tools like TubeBuddy to focus on. So my advice normally is to make sure whatever you've researched that your focus keyword is going to be, is to make sure that you get that into the title, ideally at the front end of the title of your video. You can always expand on that a little bit more because, of course, we want to appeal to our audience as much as we want the search engines to kind of pick up our content. So, for example, if I was doing a video on keyword research for your YouTube videos, and I decided that my target keyword phrase was going to be keyword research for YouTube videos, I might use that as the first half of my title, but then just to make it a little bit more enticing and to appeal to the kind of the human beings that are actually going to be watching the video, I might tag a little bit on the end of the title to say 5 amazing tools or 5 easy steps or something like that. So they would be my kind of, that's my kind of surefire way of making sure that your title is going to appeal to the search engines and give you the best chance of your videos coming up in search, but also to make people want to click on them as well.
I think one of the things which I hope anybody who's doing YouTube listening to this will do is actually go and see how their videos rank. Because frankly, I have no idea how my videos rank. I've never checked. I'm going to go and check. But actually, I think that's probably easier said than done, because if you're not going to appear in the first few pages of search, you may have a very long journey to manually find out how you rank. Have you any good tools for actually checking how you rank?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, all of the kinds of things that we are talking about can be done. There are some amazing keyword research tools out there, but I always do come back to TubeBuddy because that is my kind of go-to software. There are other alternatives such as vidIQ, and Morning Fame is also really good. But you can do all of this kind of thing on a tool like TubeBuddy. There are endless things you can do. You can find out, as I say, where your videos rank for a particular search term, but also things like there's something called I can't remember how you pronounce it now. I think it's Videolytics, and basically it allows you to see what other similar content creators to you, how they're actually optimizing their videos. So you can go onto their video and it will show you on a layover screen on YouTube itself what sort of tags that they've used, so how they've used tags to optimize their videos, and gives you all sorts of other information about what they're doing. So you can use that for your own kind of benefit, but also I think it's more important to use that in the sense of looking for gaps. So what have they not optimized their videos for? And actually maybe that could be an opportunity for you to optimize your video for something that they haven't.
Right.
So there are, the capabilities of these tools are endless really. And it's so, like you say, to do it on your own, to work out what the best keywords are, to work out the sort of popularity of your videos in terms of how much of people watch of them, how your videos rank in order of popularity. To do that on your own without a tool would be nigh on impossible. So it's definitely worth getting familiar with a chosen keyword, YouTube keyword research tool, and start off on the free version. There's a lot you can do on the free version of TubeBuddy, for example, and then there's so many different plans after that unlock sort of different features. So yeah, I think it's an absolute essential to use a keyword research tool for YouTube to give yourself the best chance.
I didn't even know there was a free version of TubeBuddy.
There is,
that's news to me.
Yeah, so you can, one of the biggest features that I use is the keyword research tool, and I can't remember exactly how many searches you get, but you get quite a few searches per day on the free version. It's only if you want to go over that number of searches a day that you would need to upgrade. But I personally I'm on the Legend plan, which is the kind of top level plan, purely because I just use it on a daily basis for me and clients as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many different plans. You can choose the one that's kind of right for you and your business.
So I guess where I would like to go next is, we've spoken about the keyword research. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing your clients, they take care of the scripting and the filming element themselves.
Yes.
But when we get beyond the editing, we're walking into the promotion and the repurposing phase.
Yeah.
What are the biggest areas of exploit that most people should be looking at if they're not engaging with an agency like yours? So I guess a better way to ask that question might be, what are the most common mistakes you see people making, or where they're leaving obvious opportunity on the table?
Absolutely. So the first 24 hours after a YouTube video has been published is like a really crucial window. So YouTube will look very specifically at that first 24 hours when it's determining how popular a video is, and therefore how many other people it should suggest that video to. So it's so important to put all of your efforts into promoting that video and driving as many people to it as you can in that first 24 hours. So the worst thing you can do is kind of, go to all the effort to create a video, have a mad rush getting it all published, and then sit back and breathe a sigh of relief and go, whew, that's done, tick that off the list, because then you're just not giving your content the best chance at all. That's when the work starts, when you've hit publish and when it's actually gone live. That first 24 hours you need to be posting about it on social media, using whichever social platforms that you're on, to find creative ways to drive people to raise curiosity about that content, so that people want to go over to YouTube to watch the full video there. Sending a broadcast out to your email list if you have one, to let them know that there's a new video live, and to raise their curiosity to actually click on a link within your email and go and watch the video. All of these different things, that's a huge thing that a lot of people miss, is maximizing that 24-hour window of opportunity, I would say.
And one thing that's puzzled me a little bit, and a few people have answered this question for me, often in quite different ways, but they're not doing what you're doing, so you probably carry a bit more weight in your answer. But one of the easy wins that I tried to use early on, and I was actually advised against it, was posting my YouTube video to Facebook or to LinkedIn, where they could actually, I think in both instances, it actually just takes you back through to YouTube. But actually I was encouraged to send people to the YouTube channel to see it rather than embedding it. Do you know if there's anything beyond rumor around what YouTube is looking at there?
Yeah, so you won't. I can see why you've not had a straight answer, as it were, or why it is a little bit of a grey area, and the reason for that is because it entirely depends on what your goal is. And so basically, if your ultimate goal, your main focus, and what you really, really want to achieve is to grow your YouTube channel and get as many subscribers and as much watch time on your YouTube channel as possible, then the absolute best thing to do is never to post the full video on any other channel than YouTube, or embed it, but always to encourage people to click on a link which takes them to watch the video on YouTube. However, you will get people saying, but what I'm actually doing with my videos is providing people value. I'm giving, really useful, helpful information that my audience want from me. And ultimately, if people are getting to know me and be interested in what I offer, getting to feel closer to me and to build that trust more through watching my videos wherever they watch them, whether that's on LinkedIn or Facebook, then what is the problem with allowing someone to watch the full video off the YouTube platform? So it depends very much on how you come at this, and like I say, what your goals are. There are two different ways to look at it, but yeah, I mean, ultimately, I always encourage people to watch the full video on my YouTube channel. I get around that by creating little teasers, snippets of the YouTube video that maybe giveaways. So for example, if I've done a video that contains 3 tips on a certain topic, I might just create a short 60-second clip which gives people one of the tips, but they know they've then got to go over to YouTube to watch the full video. So that's one thing that you can do. But I do always encourage people to watch the full video over there. But I do see the argument for sure that there is certainly no harm in one sense of people watching a full video on whatever platform they prefer to watch it on, if ultimately it means they're going to want to work with you as a result of watching more and more of your video and getting to know you more and more. So, yeah.
No, that's a very good answer, because that was my feeling, that it really depended on what your goal was. That if you want, as you said, to build engagement on LinkedIn, then you probably want to post a native video on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But again, maybe not the full thing, in order that you can get the maximum benefit and hopefully draw those people who did get towards the end over to YouTube.
Yeah. Because
obviously they're the people you want the most.
Absolutely. And I think as well, like, it's going to depend on your individual audiences. So Bob, for example, you do quite a lot on LinkedIn, and it might be that you post in, allowing people to watch the full video on LinkedIn, for example, that might work really well for you. You know, it might be that worked really well for me. It might not. I think people have to experiment and find out what's going to work best for them and where their audience prefer to watch and engage, and just try things, really.
Permission to play. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
So there's another thing you touched on, which is content repurposing. And that was where we originally spoke, because you were the content repurposing go-to. And obviously anybody that's producing video content, whenever I'm explaining content repurposing to clients, and we're talking about what's the optimum content repurposing journey, it always starts with video. So I can totally understand why you've really knuckled down into YouTube specifically. But what I'm curious to know is, in order for repurposing to be simpler and systematic, do you encourage your clients to structure their video in a particular way in order to make your subsequent repurposing easier?
Not so much. Purely because, well, maybe that's because we're really lucky with the clients that we've got in, that they already have kind of a set structure that they're in, and the videos do tend to flow in a certain way. Perhaps what I would suggest, though, and one thing that we always do for our own videos and for clients' videos, is that we always get a transcript. We always use an online transcription service like Quick or Rev.com, and we download the transcript, and we don't use that in terms of, we don't use it too directly, but it will help us with a number of things. So the first way that we repurpose most YouTube videos for clients is that we'll create a full blog from the video content. So having that transcript, we're by no means relying fully on that transcript, but it provides a basis, provides something that we can work with to then wordsmith and craft an actual written piece of content from. Other people may not do a full blog. Other people may do more of a show notes style of very short blog, which might be a summary of what's talked about in the video and the key points covered, together with any kind of resources. But most of our clients do repurpose into a blog. Reason being that everyone does prefer to consume content differently. So yes, I focus on YouTube, but I also accept that a lot of people would prefer to read than watch a YouTube video. A lot of people, Bob, would prefer to listen to a podcast than read a blog. So we all like to consume content differently. So it's just about providing it in as many different forms as possible so that you are appealing to and reaching as many people as possible. So that would be the main thing we do. But also having that written transcript can also really help when it comes to things like pulling out quotes from the video. So useful little snippets, which you can either use to create an audiogram, which is kind of just usually a still image with a section of audio from your YouTube video and with some captions laid over. So having that transcript, you can easily read through and go, oh, that would make a really good paragraph to pull out for the audiogram. Same with quotes. So sometimes people have quote graphics created for Instagram. So if you've got that written transcription, you can see word for word what's been said and what would be great to pull out as quotes. So for repurposing, getting the transcription is a really good place to start.
I think I'm curious, this leads me to another question, because transcription is great. If you don't have text from your video, if you have it it's golden. Personally, I actually write the blog post before I shoot a video. So I have the script rather than the transcript, which sort of leads me to, there are probably two routes to producing a video. One that's scripted and one is unscripted.
Yes.
Do you have any experience? I don't think it's really a non-question. Is there a better way of doing it? It probably boils down to personality.
I think it's one of the biggest questions that anybody that's ever created a YouTube video out there or thought about it has, because it's huge. I know when you first sit down, and you'll know this, Bob, to do your first YouTube video, it's incredibly difficult. And I think this whole question of scripted or not scripted is purely an individual choice. And again, I think you have to experiment. So when I first started with my videos, mine were scripted word for word. And then as time has gone on, and that much time hasn't passed because the new channel is only just over, I think we started our channels at a similar time, mine is only just over a month old. But I've been doing 2 a week, so I have noticed that I've gone less from scripting word for word to more having bullet points. And I can feel that my natural way of presenting the content has become a little bit easier. I seem a bit more confident, I feel a bit more confident on camera. That said, there will be people out there who will always want to stick to the script and speak it word for word, and that's absolutely fine. It's just finding whatever works for you. But I think not having any kind of, structure, that's never going to be a good thing. It's never good to go too far the other way and have nothing and just sit in front of the camera and wing it. Structure and keeping on track and not using filler words all the time and waffling is really important on YouTube, because we need to get as directly to the points that we want to make as possible, hold people's attention. So if you're not going to have a script, have bullet points, or if you want to go even less than that, just at least make sure that you have some notes in front of you somewhere which sort of state what structure your video is going to take, so that you don't go too far off script, as it were.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to your personality style and your personal style. Different people are comfortable with different things, they're different experience. For me,
absolutely,
I was very insecure, and a script just gave me some rails to run on.
Definitely, it's that comfort, isn't it? For sure, yeah.
So one thing that I'm obviously there's a potential area where I'm possibly just late to the party, but Instagram TV as a neighborhood of Instagram, if you like, I don't have any experience with this at all, but I'm looking at it as a repurposing platform. Is that a repurposing venue, so to speak, that you see clients getting much traction in? Yeah,
we have a small-ish percentage of clients that do repurpose onto IGTV, and it's easy enough to do. If you edit your own videos, or if you have an editor, just ask them to provide the video in the correct format for IGTV, in the portrait format. Again, it's one of those things that you need to experiment with for your audience. There's a couple of benefits in that. Yes, it's getting you more exposure. There is that argument that if people are watching the full video on IGTV, they're not going to YouTube. So it boils down to what we were saying earlier on about looking at what your goals are. So that's the key thing to consider. It's really going to depend on that. But if you use Instagram predominantly as your platform for growth, and that's where your audience is, that's where you get loads of engagement, then it might be something to seriously consider. And the other great thing about using IGTV is that it automatically creates a preview which then appears in your Instagram feed. So it's almost like another social post created for you for free, if you like, with no effort.
Yeah.
It depends whether that's where your audience is, and as to whether it's worth going to that extra effort. But certainly something to experiment with if they are there. Yeah.
So I would like to talk about, obviously, Instagram, and not Instagram, YouTube rather, and YouTube growth strategies specifically.
Yeah.
Obviously not giving away any secrets, but what are the sort of meat and potatoes of a YouTube growth strategy?
I think the first thing is consistency. you will hear that a lot, but consistency is so important on YouTube. So YouTube really values channels that are creating regularly and consistently. When I say regularly, I mean, that's kind of another topic in itself, but ideally on a weekly, or if you can, a twice weekly basis. That there is this argument that, if you create more content more often, then that will speed up the growth of your channel, which it may well do. But if you're going to be then uploading and taking a view of quantity over quality, then that's not necessarily going to be the case. And it's also what you can deal with, what your capacity is to actually keep up with that. Consistency. Once you've promised your audience something, once they come to expect something of you at a particular time or day of the week, it's really important to keep up with that. So consistency is by far the most important part of YouTube channel growth. But the other key thing is really, again, what we've touched on before, the keyword research, optimizing in each individual video in every way you can. So all the kind of things we mentioned before about choosing your keyword first, making sure it appears in all the right places, using your cards, the info cards that appear in your videos as they play. You can link off to other videos or playlists on your channel, just to keep people in a network of your content, to try and keep them on your channel rather than going off and watching someone else's content. Same with end screens. Recommend to them other of your videos that are related to the video that they've just been watching. So trying to keep them watching as much of your content as possible. And using playlists is really important and quite often overlooked as well. Playlists make it really, really easy for people to kind of binge watch your content. You can basically tell them, if they've watched one video, all these other videos that they might like to watch based on the point of interest they have, because they've watched a particular video. So creating playlists is a fantastic way to grow your channel. And just having your content plan in place, making sure that you're constantly researching, constantly noting down ideas as they come to you for different video topic ideas, and just keeping up with the quality of the content that you put out there. That's the main thing, and that's what it all boils down to really at the end of the day, is producing content that really serves your audience and really helps them solve the problem that they have or answer the question that they have, or if you're an entertainment channel, entertaining them. That's what it all boils down to really at the end of the day.
So something just popped into my head as you were speaking there about playlists that I'd always assumed, and we all know where the dangers are with assumptions, but that playlists were really for channels that had lots of video and lots of different topics. But actually, just because you've only got 15 or so videos in your channel because it's new, doesn't mean you can't create a playlist simply in order that somebody can skim from one to the next.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think I've uploaded, I think I'll be on sort of 12 videos, but I have 2 playlists already, just because I can kind of identify, common themes. And I think you should kind of start as soon as you can, and actually allow playlists to dictate the kind of video topics that you choose, to help you build out the playlists. Because a really interesting thing is to be able to, anytime you direct people to your YouTube channel, instead of just directing them to an individual video, direct them to a playlist. Because ultimately we want people to watch as many of our videos as possible. So by directing them to the playlist, you're putting them in front of so many more pieces of content for them to potentially watch than if you just direct them to one video. So
anyone listening, just go back and listen to that again, because that is a ninja trick there. I hadn't thought of that. That's such a good idea. I guess another important thing that YouTube is looking for is video engagement.
Yes.
When it comes to how it is ranking videos. Yeah. I notice some videos get reasonable engagement. Obviously, like you, I'm quite new at having my own platform. But some videos seem to naturally attract engagement, and some others it falls flat. But I've been leaving it entirely to chance. Are there any sort of industry standard approaches to trying to stimulate this kind of engagement? The sort of the likes, the comments, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, like you say, it will just come down to the fact that you just happened to put out a video which was just really timely. It just really hit the spot with your audience, and you did a great job with it. But yeah, there are a few things you can do, and that is, when you're first starting out on a channel, there is actually nothing wrong, nothing wrong at all with getting your friends and family, and people who in your work network, to just give your YouTube video, a little bit of love, to help it on its way, and that in itself kind of encourages further comments and engagement. But again, like on all of the other platforms, when someone comments on your YouTube video, it's so important not to ignore that, to make sure that you go and like it. You have this little love function now on YouTube where you can love a comment, and then reply to that. Try and encourage a little bit of conversation in the comments. Use verbal cues in your video to encourage comments. So give people a call to action in the video to comment down below with a certain something, biggest question they have, or something that works for them related to the video that the topic that you're talking on, and actually just verbally direct people to go and jump in the comments, because again, as with most other social platforms, the comments are another key metric that YouTube looks at to decipher how popular a video is. So we want as many likes and comments as we have. But for newer channels, they will grow organically over time as your videos get more views. YouTube is then pushing them out further and suggesting them to new people who hopefully will come and like and comment. But yeah, I think that the main thing to consider, to keep in mind, is to be as active as you can yourself in the comments as well when you get them.
Yeah. I think one idea I really like, which is probably something I'm going to do, is leverage other social media platforms, because people like to help people.
Yeah.
And if you give them something easy and low cost to do that can be genuinely supportive, like I've posted this video, I would love for you to come and comment on it, just to help me grow my platform. Actually, you'd probably be surprised how many people will rally around a call like that.
Yeah, and sort of leverage Facebook groups as well that are really relevant to the kind of content that you're creating. And obviously you have to be a little bit careful about how you go about it. You don't just kind of want to go every single week posting the fact that you've put up a new YouTube video in there. However, if it's genuinely helping to answer a question that people have had in that group, then there's nothing wrong with that, and encouraging people and asking them to show it a little bit of support. I think all these things are kind of really important, particularly in the early stages, and if you don't ask, you don't get. So it's really important to overcome that and do whatever we can really to help our content.
Absolutely. Well, Natalie, you've been very generous with your time, and I'm so glad anybody listening won't know we've managed to dodge the construction crews in your house.
This is my life.
And obviously anybody listening will also hear some traffic noise, and you had some tech disasters recently, which mean you have to record in a place you're not normally. So thank you for bearing with me.
No, thank you for bearing with me. Thank you.
It's been really good, really informative. I've made loads of notes.
Oh, good.
I hope anybody else that's thinking about doing YouTube, this episode will be a great reference guide, so make a note of it and come back. Obviously, you've got your own YouTube channel. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just my name, Natalie Hailey, on YouTube, and it's kind of how-tos and tutorials about every aspect of starting and growing a YouTube channel. So we cover a lot of the things that we've talked about today. So I talk you through different keyword research tools and how to use them, talk you through how to do keyword research, how to script your videos, how to structure them, how to repurpose and promote your videos. We cover it all, and they're fairly short videos. They're usually sort of between 5 and 7 minutes long, and I would just recommend anybody who wants to learn more to go and check them out. I would be very much appreciative. God, I've messed that up, Bob.
We know what you mean.
Well, you know what I mean. I would very much appreciate it.
And again, anybody listening, don't be misled by the fact this is a very new YouTube channel. Natalie does YouTube channels for some of the biggest names in the business. She's very, very experienced. So although it's a new channel, you're very much an authority in this space.
That's why I had to set up the channel, Bob, because for so long I've been working for YouTubers and I had a podcast. And so, it certainly felt like now's the time to practice what I preach and start doing this for myself. And I'm so glad I did. I absolutely love it. So,
Well, it's been great speaking to you.
thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. It's been really good. And hopefully see you again soon once all this coronavirus nonsense is finished. I hope you stay safe.
And you. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you. Like anything else, success in video marketing, and YouTube in particular, boils down to start with the end in mind. Start with a plan and then work the plan. Before I go, just a quick reminder to subscribe, and if you haven't already, to join our Facebook group. You can find a link in the show notes or just visit amplifyme.fm/insiders. I would love for you to connect with me on social media, but more than anything, I would love for you to connect with me on YouTube. Just search YouTube, Bob Gentle, and you'll find me very easily. And if you do subscribe to my channel, which you really should, then just comment on a video and let me know that you've found me through the podcast, and you will really make my day. If you enjoyed the show, then I would love for you to review it on iTunes. It would mean a lot to me, and it's the best way to help me reach more subscribers. My name's Bob Gentle. Thanks again to Natalie for giving us her time this week, and to you for listening, and see you next week.